Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Strong Collectors Podcast. I'm your host, Dakota, here with my co-host, Jordan, and our special guest, Dan, who reviews...
Dan's feeling strong today. He is feeling strong today.
Just needed to feel strong for the debut on the Strong Collectors Podcast. I'm here and I'm strong.
I love that.
The first of many guest appearances, I hope.
I hope so, yeah. I hope so.
Yeah.
I like what you do, lads. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Thank you. We brought him in today because it's a very special episode to me. It's my favorite time of the year. We get to do the draft. Now, some people don't love it when Hasbro does it. They just want to see the reveals and everything. But I think our lists can be a little bit more interesting because obviously Hasbro, the marketing team, they've got to kind of be pushing the toys. It's all got to sound pretty fun and cool. But we like to throw in some of those more fun categories like cover of action figure, I don't care about magazine, most disappointing. We've got the good stuff too. But hopefully you enjoyed this. Let us know in the comments what you would pick as your draft. So I'll run you through the categories that we've got this year. Slight change from last year, but pretty much the same. And then we'll kind of get into who's picking in what order. So we've got Best Deluxe, Best First Time in the Marvel Legend line. Now, Dan, you might have to clear up a little bit of a beef from last year for Jordan. Jordan last year wanted to pick the Destroyer as the first time in the Marvel Legend line, but I told him he couldn't pick the Destroyer because that came out as a variant in the Toy Biz era. Do you think he should have been allowed to pick Destroyer?
Of the Four-Buster as the Destroyer. I was arguing it's a variant, so maybe I just forgot, and then I started making an argument, Dan, to defend myself.
Yeah, it depends. I genuinely think there's a distinction between the Hasbro era and the Toy Biz era because they're essentially two different companies holding the Marvel Legends umbrella. So I do think in regards to the Hasbro era, it probably was
first time.
The first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if you're talking the whole of Marvel Legends and you're including both eras, then no, it's not the first time for the character. So it depends on the caveat that you're adding to that.
Okay. Well, we'll see how he goes this year if he's learned from his mistakes.
We'll
last
see.
year.
I'm here now. I'm on it. I'm like a historian. I'll be on it if you get anything wrong. Trust me.
We love that. We need it.
Next, we've got Best Update. So figures that have come out, but they've done a better job now. Best Multi-Pack, Best Accessory.
The Destroyer would work with that one, by the way.
That's right.
That's true. Best Accessory, Best Female Figure, Biggest Disappointment, You Almost Had It Award, the Bare Bones Award, the Attaboy, the Cover of Action Figures I Don't Care About magazine, and a wild card pick. So I think, Dan, since you're the guest here, I'll let you decide. Do you want to pick first or do you want to pick last so you get a double pick? Where do you want to fall in the category here? I'll go in the middle since I kind of pick the categories and everything.
I'm British. I'm not really used to these like snake draft concepts, so I haven't really chose backups, to be honest. So if one of you guys pick something I have already picked, then I'm gonna be like quickly trying to look for something and have a backup. So maybe it's best I go first.
All right. I don't
have backups for everything either. So I got maybe one or two backups, but
okay, I've got tons of backups. So we'll go every time. Dan can go first each time. Jordan can go first or go second, and then I'll go third.
Okay.
So
I don't think I doubt you guys would have picked the same as me because I'm quite particular about what I like and don't like. So I'd be surprised if we did have the same, but we will see. That's the fun of this.
Okay. Maybe Jordan and I will alternate just so then we can maybe steal one of each other's. But even that, I think I've got kind of my own taste.
Yeah, we've got different ones as well, but maybe we'll see.
All right. Do you want to just go in the order of what we went? So Best Deluxe first?
You tell me. I'm ready to go. I've literally got my part. So hang on. I need to know, right? So some people at the end of the year do these lists on YouTube and they try and pander to the audience and pick figures that they don't even own because they know that's what the community wants, right? So do you actually own your picks or are you just subjectively picking that you think this is great but you don't actually have it in hand?
I've owned everything on my bare bones and like most I have bare bones is the only category that like I didn't get because I was like that's not worth it.
Because it looks so bare. It's usually just from a picture.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And same with action figures I don't care about magazine because if I don't care about it then I probably didn't buy it. But everything else I either have owned or I've sold off because it was disappointing.
Okay. Okay, that's
So,
fair. I was just curious because some people like do these lists and they don't even own these figures, and I'm like, well, how have you got an opinion on it from not even owning it? Like, so.
I mean,
Okay,
I think
let's
with
go.
some like with the Build-A-Figure category we had last year, I don't think we owned those because like I'd picked the Void, but I didn't buy all the figures to make the Void, but I wanted the Void, so he got the win for me, and I eventually got
Can
him.
I
But
just
so
say
like,
this to? Can I just say this
yeah,
to annoy Rich M? The Void was technically a 2024 wave. It was the first of the first 2024. That was the street date for the Void. So technically,
yeah,
that wave was the first Build-A-Figure wave of 2024.
I think are
I
we?
think
Did
we had that
I-
discussion, didn't we? Because I asked you, I said,
Yeah.
do those ones count? And you said,
Now
I
that you
think
said
we
that, like
concluded
I
yes.
don't think we actually did have the Void. Maybe I picked somebody else that I didn't have, but I'd have to go back and watch our old video because I counted the Void for this year, like 2024.
For the record, I had reviewed every single figure in the Void wave in December of 2023.
Right.
But technically, it was the first of the first. That's all.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So we'll just go down the list then, since we got the same order. We're not really stealing anything from anybody. So Dan, who is the best deluxe in your opinion?
Okay, best deluxe and potentially one of my favourite figures of the year. We'll find out as the month goes on. But it's so nice I had to buy it twice. You can probably see it already.
Right.
It is the Hulk Buster. In the Dan Who logo, you will see me clutching two characters very tightly, looking strong, of course. It is Spider-Man and Iron Man, two of my favourite characters within the Marvel world. Spider-Man, the animated show, as you know, was my gateway drug to all things Marvel, and I love Iron Man as well. Of course, the MCU has sort of helped that, but since the MCU's debuted, I've obviously went backwards and learnt the history and all of that of Iron Man in the comics too. So, two of my favourite characters. Hulkbuster in the comic form was something that I hadn't had. I know there were a few options out there, but I'd never had one. So I'm very glad that we got one this year, and I think Hasbro did an epic job. This thing moves and articulates way more than a character of this size should do. Like, it is honestly so nice. And we got the interchangeable pieces as well, like with the Tony Stark head, and it just looks impressive, and like aesthetically, like that's very important for the like my current collecting habits. Like I want I want the Marvel universe to all look cohesive and everyone is from the same place type thing. So I think this is a beautiful complement to the current crop of Iron Man Marvel Legends that we have, a centerpiece if you will. So yes, my favorite character, sort of biased, but undoubtedly a solid deluxe offering from Marvel Legends as well.
Yeah. You stole my pick. That was going to be my number one. But all right, I've got a backup. Don't worry.
Oh, he's got a backup loaded up.
Yeah, good. But there you go.
Very
all right,
nice.
Jordan.
So my best deluxe is going to be, I don't have them on me. I should have grabbed them, gotten prepared. But I went with the MCU Man-Thing. And I'm a huge Man-Thing fan. I loved the Werewolf by Night special. I don't know how you felt about that one, Dan, but I'm big into all the monsters, and I talk about those quite a bit. So that's one of my favorite MCU things in a while. And I'm not a huge MCU guy. I have some. I don't do a ton of it. And I was a little hesitant when I first saw pictures, but I had to get them for my Halloween displays. And I ended up really liking them. I think it works really well. Like the details they went back and added. There's even like the little sunflower and stuff on them, which I think is pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, I'd like to see a black and white version. I feel like we've either speculated or hoped for something like that, maybe. But Man-Thing is going to have to take the place for my best deluxe because I think he still works even as a general comic figure too, MCU or not.
I'm assuming you didn't have the 2017 Netflix Wave Build-A-Figure version of Man-Thing, so for you it was a new experience.
I've had that one before, like in different trades and stuff. And I thought he was all right. I just kind of, I don't know. I enjoyed the updated one too, having that. I think maybe
it's
part of
essentially the same, just a new overlay essentially to match what was on the show.
Yeah. So I like them both, but I think sticking for me sometimes too. It's like if I have one and I know there's a new one coming out and it was going more high in price, I'm like, I think there's a new one coming. So sometimes I'll sell to then kind of have money to buy my new one. So ended up doing that, I think, on this one and sticking with the current Man-Thing I got.
Yeah.
No, it's a nice figure. I don't want a black and white one, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, as I've mentioned, I want my collection to look cohesive.
Right.
And if we've randomly just got a black and white figure, in this pop of color.
Right.
It's just going to stand out like a sore
I-
thumb.
I-
So not for me.
I also do like the NECA Universal Monsters. I don't know if any of that stuff
Yeah.
ever intrigues you, but
Got them all.
okay.
Got 'em
well,
all.
yeah. So I could see it fitting in somewhere with my monsters, but
Yeah, I guess if you're not going to display it with Legends, it would make sense.
yeah.
But no, it's a good pick. It's a good pick. I like to see some MCU love as well. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was gonna say we left the MCU off the list just because Jordan and I don't collect it enough for like I don't know if I bought any MCU figures last year. So yeah.
It's been a down. It's been on a down
True.
anyway. It's not really Hasbro's fault for that. But yeah, it hasn't been a great year for MCU. Usually I do a top 10 every year, but I don't think this year I'm going to bother because I don't
Yeah.
even know if we've got 10, to be honest.
True. I guess if you count like the 97 X-Men and like there were some good figures there. The Spider-Verse had some good figures, but yeah. All right. So my best deluxe, like I said, you stole my pick with Hulkbuster, but I had a backup, and that's Angel. So I was excited to see some new articulation for the wings for sure. I think, and that's also the costume I like too. I know some people want the blue. Well, we'd had the red and the blue from Toy Biz before. And I thought those were pretty cool characters back then. I remember always playing with those, but definitely was time for some new updates. I've said on the podcast several times, I'm a slut for wings, whether it's Marvel Legends or Mythic Legions. Put wings on a character and I'm probably going to love them. So it did all the things I needed it to do.
Yeah, Angel was an update we needed for sure. And it's inevitable we're going to get that blue one down the line.
Right.
Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they can do with the wings on Archangel, because I think that tease from the last reveals was for that new Archangel that's on some leaked
Agreed.
lists. So
Agreed, yeah.
I'm hoping that we have something new than just the kind of foldy wings that they've done before. But I don't know. I love Archangel probably more than I like Angel, but I'm excited to see it. Next up, what is your top first time Marvel Legend figure, Dan?
Okay, yeah, this isn't a. Let me just caveat by saying that this list is my thoughts and feelings on this particular day. Tomorrow,
Yeah.
my list could be different. Okay, so I like that you gave the MCU some love with the Man Thing with your previous choice. So I'm going to continue that and give the MCU some love. But I do want to say that one of my favorite things about Marvel Legends is that after 22 years of Marvel Legends, we are continually still getting new characters, and there are still characters that we need. Do you know, like it's not just going around in circles. We're constantly building teams, and I genuinely, one of my favorite things is adding new characters, and world building, as you know, is a big thing. So I like that. But I'm going to go a little bit obscure with this pick and move to the MCU, because I felt it was a place that doesn't get a lot of love in the MCU, is the army builders, especially some of the like fodder big villains. So we never really got the Chitauri from the first Avengers movie, and I hope we do. But we did this year get the Outriders, which obviously are a big bad of Infinity War when they're on the battle. There's an iconic battle in Wakanda where some of the best scenes of the MCU are in that like battle, and of course Endgame as well. So yeah, I'm just really glad that we had the opportunity to add some of these fodder villains, because it's all good having all these heroes on the shelf, but you need the bad guys to do for them to beat up, do you know, for your
Right.
pictures and the displays and whatnot. So this, like, I know a lot of people probably pass these on by because they're not cheap. I completely agree, but they are completely unique tooling. You're not going to get reuse on these from anywhere. They move and articulate so well. And they're really, really good figures for what they are. I just think because people are on a little bit of an MCU dip at the minute, and because of the price point, people probably didn't pick them up. But for what they represent and what they are, they're actually a solid offering. So, yeah. So my first time in the line is the Outriders. But I would have preferred the Chitauri just for that like first Avengers movie. But I'm assuming if we've got this, then the Chitauri are probably coming down the line. So. Outriders. Odd choice. Yeah.
I'm one of those people who
like
did
it.
pass, Dan, but I'm also a little surprised that, took them that long to do the Outriders. I thought maybe those would have come at some point, but I think Chitauri would be sweet as well. I would definitely, I think, have to get some of those.
One of my favourite little displays I've got is Thanos and the Black Order. Like we got that Thanos pack with all the Black Order, and like I just think they look epic standing together. So like I like that I can fill out that sort of cube now with the Outriders sort of lingering and lurking in the background. So yeah, again, odd choice for first time in the line, but as I said, it's a figure, it's a set that I think deserved a bit of love because a lot of people probably passed on by.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty, and I think it probably makes sense that, like, although we would have wanted them sooner, it's probably good that we waited until they had the technology to make them as cool as they are now. Because it came out when the movie came out, maybe they would be a little more Outriders looking like the 6-armed Spider-Man, and it'd be like, it's cool, but
no one wants that.
It's cool now. So
no one wants that.
Right.
That is the advantage of getting figures late. Is like as frustrating as it is because you're obviously hyped for something while the product's available. It's like you can get it more accurate to the source material, and at the end of the day, that's what we want in our collection. We want our mind's eye, the like accurate things on the shelf. So yeah, I don't mind waiting on this one. But it's been a while for the Chitauri. Where are they, Hasbro? Come on now.
Right. All right, Jordan. What do you got for
right,
your best
my next
first
one?
time?
So first time, again, Dan, the historian, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I went with, I actually got him on the shelf here. You're going to see me if I'm reaching. And I'm using Articulatrix's Instagram as my source, as my reference argument. But I went with Jack-O-Lantern because technically, I believe this is a different version of Jack-O-Lantern than we've seen in our previous Jack-O-Lanterns, because we've had a lot of different aliases that have taken on Jack-O-Lantern. And I also just wanted to find a way to get him on my list because I don't know if you guys got this one. I was very surprised by this figure. I love a flaming pumpkin head. I'm a big, I love my Halloween stuff. I love my more obscure bad guys. But I just thought this one was really sweet. I had a lot of fun with it and just enjoyed it a lot more than I anticipated. Even like the hover disc, and I liked how the orbs can come out and he can toss his little pumpkin bombs.
Let me just confer with the historian Marvel Legends board. 1 second.
Okay, all right.
We're going to allow it. We're going to allow it. Yes, we did have a Jack-O-Lantern. We did have a Jack-O-Lantern previously, but like you said, he's a different man behind the mask.
Right.
And the last time we got that version of Jack-O-Lantern wasn't technically Marvel Legends. It was like a sister line, subline, predates Marvel Legends.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're allowed it. Green light.
All right. Good to hear.
Yeah.
But
That's good because I think if you had asked, because you did ask me and I was like, oh yeah, totally, Jack-O-Lantern counts, but I forgot that we got that one in the, whatever that was, Absorbing Man Wave or something.
Gangly, T-jointed, his legs. Yeah, terrible. Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
I much prefer this one, so Jack-O-Lantern's taken my best first time.
Nice. Yeah. I was also surprised by that, and that's all pinless too, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That might be another reason.
I think when I opened him, I was like, oh, here we go. This is going to be how I get my new Dread Knight, is on this type of body.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
It's the first figure with butterfly joints with the chainmail, isn't it?
Right. So it's got to be coming soon. I've been hoping for a new Dread Knight. I sold off the old one just because I was scared of the leg exploding, because I'd had my Black Knight do that. So it's like, sell this one while it's hot, and they'll make a new one, hopefully.
Dan, Dakota is a serial Marvel Legend exploder, just so you know. As a kid, he borrowed several of my Toy Biz figures, and they all ended up blowing up somehow. So,
well,
are you like Sid from Toy Story? Were you out strapping rockets to their back or something?
I was just trying to get them to do kicks and stuff, and their crotches always explode, especially with Toy Biz. So
my Toy Biz, Iceman and Apocalypse, both blew up. So
right,
yeah. I know.
Don't
let them borrow your toys.
Toy Biz are
He's
fragile.
gotten a little better.
Can't. Yeah. Well,
he's got no room on the bus. I only see Mythic Legions in his tour video.
I got a whole stack. Well, I can't show you all of them because it'll let me see. Okay, so I'll switch to my first, and then I can show you more of my toys.
Okay.
So first time in the Marvel Legends line. Jordan's heard me talk about him a lot.
Of course.
That's got to be Chris Starr, because I think this is. I got into Spawn because the Gunslinger Spawn was so popular. We picked it up and I took some pictures of it. I was like, this is pretty cool. I need to read these comics. Same thing pretty much happened with Chris Starr, where they announced him and I was like, that looks familiar to an old toy I used to have. And then I pulled it out and I was like, I did have Chris Starr figures back in the day. It's like, I got to go back and read all these comics. So it prompted me to go down that rabbit hole of reading all the Crystar that was available, which is only like 11 issues, so not that hard. But I just thought that was fun. Kind of got me into a whole new world within Marvel. So it's like Crystar's got to take the top spot for new figures, and I hope that we get more Crystar adjacent figures like Moltar or the
Rich
other.
is gonna hate that pick. Rich is gonna hate it.
Crystar?
That's one of his worst figures. Yeah, he hates
What?
Crystar. Hates
No.
Crystar.
He just
He hates
doesn't.
drafts. He hates Crystar. Oh, yeah, he's not gonna be a fan of this. Rich, write in the comments. Are you a fan of Crystar? Let them know. Let them know.
Right. I loved it. I thought that was an amazing figure. I love also translucent figures. I'm a big fan of that. Blue and red. I like it. He's too cool. And he's in the new Deadpool books.
Yeah, I don't share the same opinion as Rich. I like when they give us new characters. I always say I like learning via the medium of action figures. A lot of people are like instantly put off when they don't recognize a character, and they're like, "I've got no interest in." And I'm like, "Why aren't you interested in learning who that is and like figuring like that's always intrigues me." So like I went back, did my research, found out about the toy line, and yeah, he's quite obscure within the concept of the Marvel universe, but as an action figure, it's a solid update for what it is.
Yeah. All right. Next up, our category is Best Multi-Pack.
Ooh.
Okay. I could have went in a couple of directions for this, but I've got a bit of recency biased. So, again, because my opinion could change every day, today I'm going to say my best multi-pack is the Cabal 3-pack. I think I do have an extra one down here. Like, we're going to talk about best upgrades a little bit later. And two of these figures could have been in that category themselves with Doom with the soft goods cape. So now I can finally get him to sit in that throne I've had from Diamond Select for ages. And then we've got Taskmaster as well, which is a much more articulated, better version than the previous one. But also Norman Osborn is going to kick off this year, well, in 2025, hopefully completing the Dark Avengers. And a little exclusive for you. Look at that before anybody else. We've got the brand new Dark Miss Marvel. Don't listen to Hasbro. It's not Dark Warbird. It's Dark Miss Marvel. It's Moonstone. It's Carla Sofen pretending to be Miss Marvel in the Dark Avengers. So I think this year Hasbro are definitely teasing us that we're going to get upgrades of Draken and some of these other characters. So I just love the villains as well. And this is like three A-tier villains in a box set. So, and I never had the previous Iron Patriot. I think he came in like the Iron Man 3 wave, like back in 2010. So, obviously better than what we've previously had. So,
for sure.
Yeah, on this day, again, because I've recently just got Miss Marvel as well, I can sort of see where that team's building. I'm going to say the Cabal 3-pack.
Okay, very good pick. Yeah, I was super excited for Iron Patriot, but ended up think Taskmaster took my favorite spot out of those three because I think I had maybe had the old Taskmaster and like sold him in like a lot or something. But yeah, that new Taskmaster I wasn't expecting to care much about, but I was like, actually, this one is the coolest out of the three. So good pick.
You've been waiting to fill out those Dark Avengers for a while.
I can't wait to get the Dark Avengers finished. But I think I need like updates because Ares is okay, but they could do way better. Dakin, same thing. The old one is so old. And they love doing Wolverine, so I think that's a no-brainer for them to make a new one.
I've just posted my review for her, and I've got out on the table what we currently have for our Dark Avengers, and I'd said exactly that. I was like, look, we can sort of fudge a team together, but the outfits may not be accurate, the characters ain't great, and certain ones need upgrades. So it's getting closer, but we're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Do we get Dan? Did Dan settle our Dakin debate, Dakota?
I think
on how to pronounce
that. I do the same as you. I do the same as you. I say both. But someone has corrected me all the time because it's Japanese.
Right.
So it's Dakin, I think.
Okay. Because we have people correct us. We try it both ways and we get corrected either way. So.
Yeah.
I think it's Dakin.
When you read comics, like, unless there's an animated show or a film or something where someone speaks, everyone reads it their own way. Do you know?
Right.
So I think both are acceptable.
As a kid, I never knew how to say Rorschach's name. So, that one was a puzzle for me for years. Okay. So now, am I second still, or are we flip-flopping?
Yeah. Oh, I can take this one. So
all right,
maybe I
you
steal
go for
something
it.
from you.
Yeah, let's see.
All right.
I don't think you
I'm
will.
gonna. Well, no, I don't think I am going to either.
Thanks.
I'm going with another 3-pack, and that's the Shield 3-pack. So I love my Shield display, fighting the Hydra, fighting the AIM. I think this one was for sure needed because the old Dum Dum Dugan is so old. That's like very early Hasbro. And then you had the 2 options for Nick Fury. Also, both needed updated. Sharon Carter, I could take it or leave it, but she actually was a little bit better than I was expecting. So, come with a whole slew of weapons. It's also been on sale on Amazon several times in the last like month or so that I've been posting. So, pretty good bang for your buck if you're getting it on sale. I was happy to pay full price. Big fan.
It just went on sale in the UK, by the way. If anyone's interested watching this, In-Demand Toys, £25 for that 3-pack, which is a bargain. So I
Wow.
bought myself an extra one just because of the
Yeah.
price. So yeah, it's a great pack full of accessories, and you can essentially turn it into an army builder if you have got some extra heads out there in your fodder boxes as well. So
Yeah.
good choice.
Put that hood screaming head on at least one body, I think, would be a great scared shield agent. Okay, so my multi-pack, I've got one half of the multi-pack up here. Oh, I'm going with my Sabretooth with Cowboy Wolverine. And I wanted to fit Sabretooth for sure on this list because I think this also could have fit in Best Update. There's some other contenders that I have. There you go. I was pretty impressed by this figure, and I really think a much-needed upgrade from the Apocalypse, right? Apocalypse Wave?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one, I like the look, but again, always a little too skinny for me. So I know Dakota had always wanted a Caliban Buck Sabretooth, which I could see if they did animated. I was happy with this size. I like the sculpt.
Yeah.
I like the faces. I think the hands were good. I know we got the pins, but I can live with that. I was pretty content with this Sabretooth, though. And the Wolverine was a nice addition, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's no way that Wolverine, you like Wolverine as much as you do that Sabretooth. Like, so.
Yeah. So it might be how I feel
Sabretooth
today
definitely
again,
carries.
Dan, is I just,
Yeah,
Sabretooth
yeah.
carries the team.
No, he does. He does carry that set for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, yeah, I was a little disappointed that it came with that style of Wolverine, but when I did get him, I was actually like, this isn't too bad. I think the elbows look a little weird with, like, when you have them posed up, but otherwise, I thought I thought they could have just come with, like, plain cards, but then they branded them Xavier's. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I think you stole, I'll try not to repeat later, but yeah, I think
Okay.
this was going to be in my best update, one of the contenders anyway. But this was also, if you had, nobody was going to take the Shield 3-pack unless it was Dan, but like, that was going to be my next choice too. So,
I thought about it. I also thought about Crystal and Lockjaw, just because I love adding new characters to the team. But I've got the Mezco Lockjaw, which is
Okay.
a better version of Lockjaw, to be honest. So,
sure.
yeah, I went with Outriders just because. Oh no, with the Cabal. Sorry.
I had the Iron Fist and Power Man on deck too, just in case. Because I thought that was a good 2-pack also.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now we're moving into best accessory.
Okay.
Very specific
Okay.
award here.
I want to just give an honourable mention before I get to my
Okay.
actual hit. Again, Rich isn't around, so I can do it here, right? So honourable mention to the Spider-Man mask that comes with Peter Parker Spider-Man from the VHS 2-pack.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's such a small thing, but like, I've wanted to display Peter Parker on my shelf with the mask off, like, just to show that this Peter Parker this is my... When I think of Spider-Man in my head, this is the Spider-Man I think of, that 90s animated Peter Parker. So I just wanted the mask. I don't know why, I just wanted to stand front and centre holding the mask. And it's a tiny bit of plastic that Hasbro never gave us. So it just made me very happy that we got the mask that he could hold on a display. So that's my just a little honourable mention, but it's too small to really win this category. So I think it has to be something big, right? So a throne isn't a character. It's technically an accessory for Kang to sit on. So I'm going to say the best accessory this year is Kang's throne. Because I think there's a lot of characters that like are known for just like on comic panels for just sitting on thrones, whether it be Thanos or even Black Panther. So I think Throne has a potential. Like we could have a Throne wave of figures if they wanted to avoid the Riders wave and switch it up and just do characters with chairs. But it would make sense. It would make sense. So yeah, probably don't market it like that. It probably wouldn't do very well. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kang.
Might be a future wave prediction episode idea there.
I was just saying, write
Chair
that down,
wave.
Yep.
We get at least Madam Web in there, right? I mean, come on. You just got one.
This is my point. Yeah, 100%. There's characters that are synonymous by just sitting down.
And
obviously.
Everybody's got to sit down, right? So come on.
Exactly. Everyone deserves a rest occasionally.
Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben with a rocking chair.
With a rocking chair.
Long rest. But yeah, best accessory is Kang's Throne.
That's a great pick.
I like it. Yeah.
I still have my Joe Fix-It Kane, Dan, so I didn't pull the trigger on that one, but I'd like to get that throne at some point. So that's for sure on my list. Okay.
Yeah, looks great.
Well, my accessory, again, I think I can count this one. I was very impressed by the Superior Spider-Man spider legs. Superior Spider-Man, one of my favorite versions of Spider-Man. That storyline got a lot of flack. I was a big fan of it personally. I wanted it to go on for a little while longer. But I was really impressed by like the engineering on these because I liked how you can turn them to go different ways to make for a lot of different possibilities because I think the Iron Spider legs were pretty limited. I thought they looked cool, but I thought those were a little limited. And I thought this was a cool bit of new engineering that they've put in. Again, pretty specific to this one. I'm sure there's other ways you could use it. But I just appreciated how many different poses you can get the spider legs into to just, whether it's like he's standing, protecting him, kind of those attack mode legs. I like the versatility there. And I think this one really needed an update too. I was quite disappointed by the thumbs up Superior Spider-Man from... I don't even remember where that one was.
The ultimate Green Goblin wave from 2014.
There you go, Dan.
It was terrible. It didn't even come with the legs.
No, it's so bad. And he's got those like these fingers. I never knew what that was about. I guess he's just
he
happy.
approves of everything. He approves of everything.
I'm happy to be here. Yeah. So I was really excited to see that, and I feel, and then that you can switch out the accessory on the backpack. I think is pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was definitely
that's been my best review of the year, for the record.
Mm-hmm.
That was I managed to get the first review on that one.
Oh, nice.
And it's as we round out the year, that looks like it's done the best for the year. So a lot of people like that one.
Nice. I'm going smaller, and I don't think he's making anybody's lists, but I don't know. I just thought that the Black Winter Thor hammer was pretty cool. So I had to put that on the list. There's maybe some other more mainstream things, but like that Black Winter Thor, I couldn't get him on the list, but I could at least get his hammer on here. I haven't read anything with him in it, but that almost makes me like him more because I can build up the character in my own mind of like how cool it is. But I think the smoky hammer was a fun touch. Even the like crazy windswept hair of Thor was cool. So the hammer for me is going to take it. And I would be shocked to know if anybody else had that in their top 50 of this year for characters coming out. But I was a fan. I loved it. I think I picked it up full price, as you probably find it on sale somewhere. But I was like, that's one I got to have. So I don't know. Did you have that one? I'm sure, Dan. But do you care at all about him?
Yeah, well, as I said, I like learning via the medium of action figures. So I didn't know who the Black Winter was, and I was like, "Why is he Thor?" Like, so I went and read the Fallen, which is Silver Surfer and Galactus, and the Black Winter is a villain that even Galactus is intimidated by, and he just basically takes on the appearance of Thor to battle Galactus and Thor. So like, so Black Winter is just embodying Thor, and it was clever reuse from the Hasbro team. Like they're sneaky sometimes, like because I know people were moaning at it, but it is an accurate reuse of that body that represents something different. So I was like, very sneaky Hasbro, but yeah, of course I think I've put him with my heralds for the time being, just lurking like a shadow of Thor.
I like it. Yeah, I was thinking, because we were doing the leaks and the speculations, I thought they were going to do the kind of the blue powered up. I don't even know if he looks like that much in the comics, but in Fortnite, when I was playing, he looked like that. So I was like, oh, we're going to get a Fortnite type Thor, where he's all blue,
the dude from
electric-y
Fortnite,
powered up. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
The
So-
Black Winter is usually just a cloud anyway. So like, unless you just got a puff of smoke in a box, there's
Right.
no way for Hasbro to do that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really liked the Herald Thor though. That was a sweet figure. That was one of our like tops of the year last. Well, at least in some
Yeah.
categories, but that one was amazing.
Yeah.
I thought. And my wife
Yeah,
saw
I
Black
agree.
Winter on the list when I was going through figures, picking them out, and she's like, "Hey, that looks cool." So I think I have to go find it now. So I gotta get that one.
I got a soft goods cape from Rebel 10 Customs to upgrade the Herald Thor, and it genuinely makes it pop. Looks really, really good. So yeah, I agree. It was a good figure for what it is.
Next up, we've got the best update Marvel Legend. So Dan, what do you got for this category?
I think like there's a few choices. We've already talked about characters that have got decent upgrades this year. Like let's be honest, the whole summer program, the 85th anniversary line, there was no new characters in that. Every character that was out in the 85th anniversary line, technically, we had some type of representation of in the Marvel Legends line. So the whole line was just upgrades. So you could literally pick anything from that lineup because it was a solid lineup of figures. Probably one of the strongest summer programs, to be honest. But there was a character that I was hammering on about all year. At the end of my reviews, I'd casually mention him and say, come on, it's his anniversary too. He needs an upgrade. And a lot of people were telling me, well, he can't be done. He's not allowed to be done. There's too much politics around it. And I was like, look, at the end of the day, it's a representation of a comic book character. Of course they can do it. And they did do it. It's the Punisher. So we got the Punisher War Journal 2-pack with the Punisher and Bushwhacker. And I've been asking for a Punisher that can actually hold a weapon for like a decade plus. Like all our Punishers never had butterfly joints, always awkwardly holding weapons, which is his trait. He's got no magic powers. He's just a guy seeking justice on the streets, and weapons is what he needs to be able to hold. So finally, after 22 years of Marvel Legends, a Punisher, Frank Castle, can actually hold a weapon in a more natural position and pose. So, yeah, not my favourite look for the Punisher. I prefer the sort of original sort of white boots, the white gloves. But we know what Hasbro are like. They give us the one we don't want first before we get the one we do want, so they get our money twice, all right? So we know how it works. So I'm sure we will get it. But if it's as good as this, I'm going to be very happy about it. This is instantly one of my favourite of the year. A bit biased because I love the character of Frank Castle anyway, but yeah, this is my favourite update because it's a character that got the required update. Like, finally, the Punisher can hold his weapons. So yeah, the Punisher's my best update.
Very good. I like it. I am also waiting for them to redo that on the more classic look because I definitely want that look a little bit more than that one. And being in the bus, I was like, I got to pick and choose. So I was like, it's not the Punisher I want. I'm pretty sure they're going to do the classic look later. So I'm just going to hold off on the later one. But I'm glad that they finally gave Punisher butterfly joints because he's one that really needed it. All right, so now I go first for this one.
Yes.
There's so many options. I've got my list of 3 in case it got stolen, but I think I might just pull an audible and pick a different one. And I'm gonna say the Astonishing X-Men Wolverine.
Ooh.
Because the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure one from Toy Biz was actually pretty decent as far as Wolverines go from Toy Biz. But obviously Hasbro's going to do a better job, and I think this is my favorite Wolverine that Hasbro has ever done. I love the comics, so that's, maybe there's some bias there where the figure can, lack a little in some areas, but I definitely want to finish this team off. And we're pretty close, but I'm still just going to wait for the updates because they're going to do Beast again. I don't know if they'll do Danger again. I did go back and buy that figure, but I would love to see if they did do Danger. Give her a weapon hand. Come on. But I like him. The claws could be a little thicker, but I think the articulation on him, the head sculpts, all of it, big fan.
Yeah, it's a great figure.
Yeah.
I don't think I stole yours, Jordan, did I?
No, you didn't. So I'm still safe.
Okay.
I'm going to go with, for my best update, might be a bit simple. I had 2 contenders here, both Spider-Man. One was Superior Spider-Man, who I love. But I'm going to go with a second one because I already talked about him with the accessory. And I'm going to say Scarlet Spider. I love the new Scarlet Spider figure. Again, kind of more of a simple update, but I really liked when they started using the new super articulated body for Spider-Man. And I think this one fits a lot better for a Spider-Man than like the vintage or the other wave of Scarlet Spider. And I think they did a great job with him, and I love it. Yeah, Dakota Gets Down. I'm a big toe hinge advocate, Dan. I know that some people don't care. I mean, I don't know how much I do care, but I like to take a stance and fight for the toe hinge. So I enjoyed that inclusion also.
Yeah, it's not on the top of my list of required articulation, but I take it when it comes along. But that is a better proportioned version of Scarlet Spider. And I love the fact that it was on the Toy Biz packaging as well. The only missing piece for that was we didn't get an updated unmasked Ben Riley.
Riley, yeah, that's fair.
True. Yeah. I don't know. I think that one was on my list. I had that one. I had Sabretooth, but I was like, we already kind of talked about him. I also had Danny Ketch on the list. I thought that was definitely a good update from the Toy Biz one. But, yeah, Wolverine just snuck in there, clawed at my heart, I guess.
Ooh, as he tends to do to many people.
Next, we're moving over to the best female Marvel Legend of the year. Dan, what do you got?
Ooh.
Okay, I was going to go for Power Princess, but I've had her for so long, I think she's finally been overthrown by the recent She-Hulk.
Oh, you son of a gun.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense that she's on the Iron Man retro card, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, it wasn't the character with green skin that I wanted on the retro card, but we'll come back to that. Yeah, it's the best representation of She-Hulk we have in the Marvel Legends line, and they've gave the bigger, bulkier female body now as well an upgrade, so there's plenty of opportunity for reuse on this figure as well. So yeah, I know a lot of people want her in a Fantastic Four uniform and etc. To be fair, I'd take a Jennifer Walters in her lawyer outfit, so I can pair her the same way I do Hulk and Bruce Banner, but I don't know if we'll ever get that. But yeah, she's clearly a standout female of the year, so yeah, today she's my pick, She-Hulk.
That was my top pick too. Stolen.
Ooh.
All right, Jordan, let's see if you can pick, or if you're going to steal my second pick too.
Female?
I think I might be safe, yeah.
Let's see. I was going to go with Wasp from our Giant Man Wasp 2-pack. I love the retro looks, like the old school, so I definitely am partial to Wasp with the dome head. I think is just a classic look. Also gets my wife to then, she usually is wondering where all the good Marvel there you go, yeah.
Hey,
Where the good Legends female figures are, because I know those don't always get as much attention, and I was pretty impressed by Wasp, and I love she can go with my little Toy Biz Tiny Wasp now, so I've got a good combo there.
Very true.
Great figure.
Yeah. Just opened her last night. That is a good Wasp. By far the best Wasp they've ever done. So, and I'm glad they went with the kind of more classic look there.
Oh yeah.
All right, so my pick.
Did I take yours?
Was
or
my
no?
second choice.
Was that?
Nope, you didn't. She was going to be my third. If you did take my second, then my top spot is going to go to Ms. Marvel Warbird from the 85th program. I do think she got a little bit more hype than she maybe deserved. I don't know. I don't think she was quite as articulated as some people thought. Maybe I just had a janky one. But I definitely needed her for my Mighty Avengers team. That's for sure my look for Ms. Marvel. The new look is fine, but this is kind of when I was growing up reading comics. She was in this costume. So for sure my mind's eye of what a Ms. Marvel looks like. And yeah, I'm excited. Probably just a straight repaint for the Dark Ms. Marvel, but I'm excited to get that too. So yeah.
Go and check out my review, people. But there are a couple differences. There are a couple of differences.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, a couple of differences.
All right.
But yeah, good
I got to
choice.
get all
bit
those,
short,
but yeah.
Just a little bit short, I think. Like, that's a fair criticism the community had. I agree. She was a little bit short, but she's the type of character you're going to display on a flight stand anyway.
Right.
So, like, you're going to play with those proportions. So, but yeah, otherwise, great figure. And a character costume that a lot of people have been wanting. So the last one was in a free pack that was hard to get. And on an old body as well. So, yeah.
And I think
Good figure.
she kind of had some drama because she was a Target exclusive, right? And hard to get, and she sold out right away. And then I think she's a little bit easier to find now. Her price has definitely come down, but I think she was going for at least triple what she was retail. So
that's the advantage of being in the UK. No Target exclusives, no Walmart exclusives. So it was not a problem to get that one.
Yeah, I don't remember how I actually ended up finding it because think I found her in store. I think I had to do a trade or something. Maybe I traded a Mythic Legion for her, but she's in the collection now. That's where she'll stay. Next, we had a lot of bests. Now we're switching to the most disappointing. What was your most disappointing figure or moment, Dan?
Yeah. So I'm gonna choose moment rather than an actual figure, because I find something to like with all figures. Like, ideally, of course, we'd like every figure to be hyper articulated with loads of accessories and blah blah blah. But the reality is, it's a bit of give and take with for the Legends line to be as deep and vast and successful as it is. It's a bit of give and take. So even the obscure characters, I like learning about them, and I find something to enjoy about most of the figures I have. But there are moments where I'm just like, why did you do that? Like, why have you just, there was, like, it was right there and you just ignored it. And like, I just mentioned a green skin character on the Iron Man card back wasn't the one I wanted, as nice as she is. Where the hell is the Mandarin? Like, what the hell? You the first Iron Man wave. Not only is the Mandarin a character that we needed in the Marvel Legends line, the big bad of the Iron Man animated show, which that line is meant to be a tribute to. It was like the first Iron Man retro wave. It was a layup. Do an Iron Man and a Mandarin, and then I don't care what else you do. And they didn't do Mandarin. Like, I'm just like, surely you talk about Mandarin while in that whole process. So why did he not get chosen? So again, here's another one of those characters where people feel like it's the name maybe, or the association is a bit awkward for Hasbro to do. The reality is we don't know, but as a character representation from the Marvel universe, I think it's fair game. And I just, even the green skin version, as I said, from the animated show, I know that's not completely comic accurate, but I would have took it. And with his rings, his 10 rings, all the different gems and stuff. Like last time we got it was in the Toy Biz 2-packs, the face-off 2-packs. We got a couple of variants. So never in the Hasbro era have we got a Mandarin. So yeah, it was just one of those moments where I was just like, why is he not in this wave? So yeah, Mandarin not being in the very first Iron Man retro wave was definitely my biggest disappointment.
Maybe he'll be in wave 2 with my Dread Knight. So
we'll
keep our fingers crossed. Yeah,
I'll take it.
At least the green alien one from the show, right? We at least got to see the green alien.
I think that's the version they would do.
I think we can get away with that, for sure.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I would have took it. Yeah,
I think there's one on the leaks list, isn't there? A Mandarin, or am I making that up? Is that just wishful thinking?
There's so many leak lists out there at the minute. It's like I don't like getting too clued in on those leak lists, because until it's shown, you just never know. And and even the characters have so many different versions.
Right.
Until it's shown, you don't know what version of it is. It the one you want? So like, I just try and hold hope for the Mandarin. Yeah.
We may have dreamed that up in a delusional wish list, but you know.
We do the leaks, the delusions. I don't know. It all gets jumbled.
Somebody told me.
Frankencastle's coming, right?
Stan Lee told me in a dream. Okay. Is it Frankencastle. Yeah. Oh, I hope. Dan, that's one of my tops, Frankencastle. I don't know what your connection is to that storyline, but
no. My friend Christopher Allen, everybody's favorite. It's a character that he always brings up and mentions. So I want to see my friend filled with joy.
Okay.
Of that being released. So yes, I'll take it.
Then you can relate to Dakota. He has those exact feelings about me and Frankencastle.
Yeah. And I'll share that. I'll share that with you. I want it to happen now.
All right. One more. Okay. So am I first for the biggest disappointment?
Yep. You're up, Jordan.
Okay. This one again. I'm not going to figure. It's a little more conceptually. And I'm going to go with the selection for some of the characters on the Strange Tales wave. Now, I don't know if that's a controversial take here. When we heard it rumored, we did a little bit of a speculation video kind of talking about what could come in Strange Tales. I'm a big fan of those old kind of pulpy monsters, kind of random ghouls and goblins and all that kind of stuff. So maybe it was like building up my own expectation, but I would have loved even like one or two, like a generic monster for me, because I'm always hoping that you could kind of build stuff out, like your vampires or even like zombie, those kind of old ghost type stories and stuff. I think some of the ones they went with, I liked that they were doing characters that were a little more off the beaten path. I was just maybe hoping it would stick specifically to like those older Strange Tales comics, whereas I feel like they kind of used it as more of a way to just bring in like supernatural characters they wouldn't do otherwise, which again I think is cool. Most of them didn't really appeal a ton to me, but obviously cool cool Build-A-Figure in there too, which may have upset Dakota because he's been wanting that one.
Yeah.
And I couldn't quite commit to all those for that. So that might have frustrated me too, that Blackheart was locked behind that wave.
Yeah, that was super frustrating that I was like, dang it, one of the like most wanted characters on my list, and it's a Build-A-Figure for a wave that I don't actually want a single one of those characters.
Yeah, that's always disappointing. I actually think the wave was a sleeper hit. Like, I think like, there's something to like about all the figures, but I do agree as well that like they used the Strange Tales name branding just as a way to market these obscure characters, where any actual comic fan would have definitely been thinking a little bit more of an obscure character. So like even Brother Voodoo, who's in that wave, it's a solid update to that version of Brother Voodoo. But the Brother Voodoo run in Strange Tales is in his original first look. So like even that would have been a better option. And like I agree. I agree. The character selection with that one using the Strange Tales branding was a little bit misleading.
Right.
But the figures that we got are nice.
Yeah, I'd still like to get some of them if I tracked them down on better deals, maybe. But
Yeah, I was gonna say I like some
what's
of the,
one?
like,
What's one character? What's one character, Jordan? Sorry, Dico.
like that, I would be like, I want that one.
Yeah,
sure.
What's the one that you would have really liked in there?
Man, I mean, I think I would have liked to see, like, I guess, like you mentioned, even like the Brother Voodoo. I just like the classic looks, I guess, for that. So I really do love the like cheesier retro type looks for things. So I think that kind of stuff. I mean, even if we got some of our more kind of just some of the weirder monsters or something like that, just at least maybe one throwaway that maybe I wouldn't see a lot, but I would get to snag them in there.
Would you have preferred Dracula as like just smartly dressed?
That was
Dracula
my
rather
hope.
than the blood armor?
I was thinking and hoping more for like the like classic looking Dracula, or even like redoing. I really want to see Simon Garth the zombie again. I'd love to see Marvel Frankenstein. I think would be sweet. So more of that style maybe of Dracula. I probably would have grabbed him. I don't like the modern one as much, but I get that it looks cool, and I think a lot of people like that stuff too. So I'm a big advocate for any of those obscure ones coming in. So I'm not to knock the wave too much. But yeah.
my pick is following a similar vein, and I'm going to the Marvel Unlimited exclusive figure that was Nova. So I think Nova, it's a fine choice, whatever. I didn't necessarily care. Yeah, there you go. That's the one. Disappointed. But he came back in the plastic bag with his accessories just flopping around in there, where before they had Daredevil
his two hands.
Right, his two karate choppy hands.
Flopping around, just these two hands. It's literally all he came with.
Right.
Yeah.
And Daredevil came in the retro packaging, which looked super cool. That's like what got Jordan and I into Marvel Unlimited. And
wait,
now
is
their
that how
next
he
figure,
shipped? He didn't have a box?
In a bag.
Well, I mean, it was in
man,
the box.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but they had the box with like the comics and the pin and the whatever else in it, but it didn't have like a actual retro card box like Daredevil did, or like the Spider Knight that's coming out next year or now. So
the presentation was poor. Yeah, presentation was poor.
Yep. So and I think maybe they realized that, and that's why they're going back to putting him on the Spider-Man retro card. So there you go.
Right.
Yeah, lazy. But we needed him for New Warriors, a bit more accurate.
Sure. Yeah. Do you have Marvel Unlimited, or do you pick up the figures secondhand?
There's no option. No option. I don't know where the hell Rich found that, but Rich has his own sources. But no, we don't even have the option for Marvel Unlimited in the UK. Like, we can't get it.
Oh, dang.
So I would have been a part of it from the get-go. Like, there's loads of obscure characters like I want to rescue. No other rescue apart from that Marvel Limited. I even like the Punisher Venom hybrid, where like just stupid. Like, I would have been in, but we have no option for it in the UK. Like, it's not a UK thing at all. So if we want it, we have to like try and find out on YouTube or something. Not eBay, sorry. So yeah, unfortunately not. But I would if we had the option.
Dang. All right. Now, following a similar vein, most disappointing, we're going into the You Almost Had It award. So a figure that was so close to being perfect, if it would have just had this one little tweak. What do you got, Dan?
Well, it's funny you say that, one little tweak, because little is probably the thing, the little thing could have made the difference here. Now, you've already mentioned Janet Van Dyne, so I'm going to show you this 2-pack. Now, I've seen it. I was watching Dakota's tour of his lovely home, and this was on the shelf, on display, and it's a solid 2-pack. Like, look at the aftermarket for this now. As soon as Giant Man came, people realised, oh, wait a minute, this is the perfect complementary piece. Like, beautiful representation. I love that we got a smaller Hank that's the same as the Giant Man. Like, now we just need a 12-inch version, so like we can have all 3 sort of representations. But it's a solid pack. But like you said, what little tweak could you have made to this pack? Now, Jordan said earlier that he wants to pose his Wasp with a tiny little Wasp. That's a great idea. Where the hell is it in this pack? Oh, wait. No, wait. We got just a bottle of, I don't know, liquid scientist stuff and a tiny little Avengers jet. Like, okay, that's all well and good, but it's the Wasp and Hank Pym. Where's the little tiny Ant-Man and Wasp? So close, but yet so far. Like, such a little thing that would have made this set so much more desirable. We haven't got the little Wasp and Ant-Man since the Avengers retro wave, which was 2019 now, which is a while back. And I know it's the accessories that people are probably going to lose anyway. But I just would have loved the option to have a tiny Hank Pym and Wasp just in the collection somewhere. And yeah, this pack, I think you remove whatever these sciencey stuff, whatever. See what I mean? See these like repacks from the AIM scientists. Yep. Get rid of them. No one wanted them, and give us a little tiny Ant-Man and Wasp, and then this set would have been 10 out of 10. But right now, it's about a 9. Do you know? Still a great pack. Still 2 great figures. Just those little accessories would have made the difference. So, yeah, small grievance, but yeah.
I thought I heard there was a subatomic Giant Man in that pack, Dan. You just can't see him. So he's so small. Yeah. That's how the technology's getting so advanced.
Oh, they're piloting the jets.
Exactly. He's incredibly tiny.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the effect with the Quinjet though? Is that like he had it and it grows like in other things?
Yeah.
So okay.
During the West Coast Avengers, Hank Pym stopped being a hero. He was more of an advisor,
right?
And he would constantly have like things that he would make big or small, like just accessories and stuff. So he'd like pull the jet out of his pocket and throw it to the Avengers and stuff like that. So yeah, it's more of a gimmick type thing. So yeah, that was an Avengers jet taken straight from the comics and with the Pym particles, which is a nice accessory, but that's not. It's just, where's the little Ant-Man and Wasp? Just a small grievance. But again, you said they almost had it.
Yeah.
You almost had it. So close.
That would have really put it over the edge, I think, for sure. Because those tiny, especially those Toy Biz articulated ones, I think are so cool. I love that. With the removable Ant-Man head is awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So the one with the Goliath. That was so good.
Like Dakota's just opened this, so he knows for himself. Like, I love that you get the unmasked heads for both of them as well. So, yeah, a great, honestly, complimentary piece to the HasLab. If you have the HasLab Giant Man, you need this pack to sort of have that representation, just to have Wasp standing with him. But yeah, just a little grievance. That's all.
Yeah. All right. My almost had it award is going to go to Quicksilver. So I know that there was.
I know where you're going. This is nearly in another category.
He comes with his fists and his grabby hands, and it makes no sense because on the art on the box, he's running with his spiky karate choppy hands, and instead they didn't give it to him. Like, fists, sure, okay, you run with your
Everyone
fists.
runs like this, right?
He's got that
Right,
hypertension.
exactly.
He just finished a paper and he's just doesn't know what to do.
So it's kind of like, I think last year or the year before, Jordan picked Sentry because Sentry came with trigger fingers, and it makes no sense. It's the same thing. It doesn't make sense to have
That doesn't make sense.
no choppy hands for Quicksilver is just a miss.
Any Marvel character that doesn't need a gun, it's bloody Sentry. But like, just in case you need to hold a weapon. Yeah, sorry. You're absolutely right. It's stupid.
It just makes no sense. So it was close. You almost had it. But maybe they're going to fix that when it comes in the blue, and then they'll give him his karate choppy hands.
Oh, there you go.
It'll work. So
Give you 4 sets of karate chop hands.
yeah, to make up for it. What do you got?
Maybe that's the accessories that came in the bag for.
That's what I was thinking.
What's it? This guy Nova. He come with some.
I was trying to think of like other characters with the white hands, like gloved hands that would be choppy.
The white's vision, and also the any of the Falcons for comics. They both come with a flat runny hands.
Okay, there you go. Go pick up, and the Falcon from the Joe Fix-It wave is pretty cheap, so you can grab that.
Yeah. Okay,
Jordan, what's-
so mine, this is actually similar to my complaint last year for Almost Had It with the Sentry. And I did this little pose to illustrate my point. Now that I'm looking at it, it actually looks kind of cool. But I got Kazar here, and Kazar, we always go back and forth. But I again, coming with trigger fingers, and he can't quite get the spear holding the way that I'd like it. But look, holding Cable's guns, he does look like he's done messing around. So maybe this makes me want to see a story where he gets some blasters. But yeah, I think I want to just, again, I'm kind of confused on that one, him getting the trigger fingers, because I don't know in what situation he's going to need those trigger fingers. But I did like how they gave him the hinge on those hands. Like the hand goes up and down, kind of like the Zemo hand, which is cool. But I just wish they would have done that with just a standard holding hand. I think would have been a nice feature. So I get it. You could just port other hands on, but then you lose that cool feature. So I think I would have liked to see that. Just tiny adjustment there.
All right.
Yeah, there's a few characters like that have the wrong hand. Is anyone else Gambit just never hold his bloody staff properly? If you move your Gambit in the display, the staff falls straight on the floor. Like tighter grips. Tighter grips is what we need.
Yeah. I think with Mythic Legions, they almost have too tight of a grip where it's like I have to get in there and pry their hand open. We could see a little bit of that with Mythic Legions. I think McFarlane's maybe sometimes are like that too.
What is the Mythic Legion scene over there, Dan? Is that popular around you?
Everything I know about Mythic Legions is through Cloud and Michael on Legends and Liquor. Shout out both of them. They teach me everything. I'm not really into fantasy and like sword and sandals and stuff like that, goos and like goblins. I was raised on like Alien and Predator. Do you know, like I want space, future, lasers, time travel,
Cosmic Legions.
So,
well, Dakota has a great thing to tell you.
Yeah, no, I did go in on half of wave one. Like I've got the big green slog type guy. I've got a couple of the science officers, so I did dip my toe. But like at the end of the day, my collecting habits are fueled by nostalgia, and as much as I want to support these other lines, everyone's budget only stretches so far. So but yeah, it's got a community in the UK for sure. Yeah.
Now that you're saying that, Dan, that makes me want some 2000 AD lines. I would love some 2000 AD figures.
Yeah, there's loads of stuff that is like just waiting to be made toys of that I'm just hoping someone picks up. But
do you know Abelard Snaz?
No.
Oh, okay. That's an old 2000D strip that Alan Moore did back in the day. He's kind of like a goofy, futuristic detective, but I have a whole wish list of 2000 ADs I'd love to see.
Okay.
I love Judge Dredd, too. That's a big favorite of mine. But
yeah, I know they've got a great 3 3/4 Joy Toys sort of figures right now.
Yeah.
Next category we've got is the Attaboy Award. So this is, a figure or another moment that you want to just give Hasbro a good pat on the back. Good job, Attaboy. What do you got, Dan?
Okay. I hope you don't mind. Just a couple of things to get off my chest here with this. Okay, so Attaboy, Hasbro, bravo. Okay, arguably the very first Marvel action figures ever were 40 years ago made by Mattel in the Secret Wars line, and 40 years later we got this beautiful tribute to, as I said, the very first Marvel action figures. I know there was a few Marvel stuff beforehand with the dolls and whatnot, but in regards to like action figures of that era, that Secret Wars line started it, and they were keep trying to keep this one secret for the longest of time, but we all knew what was happening. So yeah, I think this is a beautiful tribute. It's more about what it represents, and I always say that for the Legends line to be as strong and continue, you always need to have jumping on points for new collectors. I know selfishly, when you've been in it for so long, you're like, I want this character and I want this character. I don't want any more Iron Mans, Captain Americas and Wolverines and Spider-Mans. But the reality is, if you want the line to grow, you need to keep having jumping on points for new collectors. And the reality is, those are the characters that sell and people want. And this whole wave has upgrades of all of the key characters. and they're all accurate to the Secret Wars story as well. Like, so I actually think they did a solid job with this. Not only is it beautiful packaging, a beautiful tribute, I think the character selection with Wave 1 was really good. My only caveat is maybe the Beyonder would have been in a different outfit, but I'm still happy to have the Beyonder. But yeah, Secret Wars, bravo. I really like it. And I hope we get more of these. I hope we get like a Wave 2, for example, as well. So I think they did a good job with that. So that's my first thing. Thoughts, Jordan? I thought you were going to say something.
Yeah, no, I'm just nodding along with you there. I think, well, Dakota definitely is, even though he's got a million Iron Mans, loved Iron Man with the roller skates was a big appeal.
Yeah.
So,
and I thought I was going to pass on it until Dan was telling us that he's got, he's pinless and it's still a worthy upgrade. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I do need to actually look at getting that. So it's on my list. If I see it at a store, I'm probably buying it.
This is the first one to land in the UK. The rest have been delayed, so I haven't even got the rest of them yet. I managed to get my hands on a few here and there, but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting these. I've brought the protector cases, and I've brought 2 sets so I can keep one on card, because again, it's a piece of history. This is a 40 years tribute to what started it all. So yeah, bravo on that one. But another thing I want to say is bravo on no HasLab. Bravo. Like, again, if you live through the Vengeance era, like, you know it can be very hit and miss. And I think the Giant Man is actually a great Marvel legend, but because it was tied up with a HasLab campaign, it's just mixed emotions around it. And it's like, people are just too bothered about wanting to hate Hasbro for whatever reason they want and forgetting about looking at the actual thing. For me, I think Hasbro do a good job, but the reality is I don't really care about Hasbro. Like, I want a Marvel universe on my shelf. That's what I'm supporting. I'm supporting a solid representation of the characters I love in plastic for my shelf, like in physical form. So I just think we're lucky that Hasbro do such a good job. But the reality is it's Marvel that I love, not Hasbro. So like, when it comes to those HasLab campaigns, like, I don't care about the Hasbro situation. I'm just like, look, I want a Giant Man. Like, can we just get a Giant Man? So, but it's a stress, isn't it? Like, even Giant Man, as good as he is, he creeped over the line. So, like, I'm glad this year that we didn't have to have that stress of a whole month of will it, won't it, YouTubers building careers off the back of it, of like, this is terrible, blah, blah, blah. This year, we could all sit back and relax. We ordered a Dragon Man if you wanted one. You could order a Sentinel from the 97 thing if you wanted one. If you didn't want one, sit back, carry on with your life, not a problem. You're not hurting nobody. But yeah, I prefer this concept, like, of like, if you want it, it's there to pre-order. You're gonna have to wait a while, but again, we're collectors. We're sort of used to the concept. So yeah, I would prefer them to continue in this direction and give us those bigger ticket items direct to pre-order, and just never have to worry about the HasLab concept again, because it's just too stress.
Yep, I'm 100% with you. I like the pre-order format much more. I mean, there is kind of that, like, I think there is the excitement buildup of like, oh, we're gonna like unlock these tiers with the HasLabs, but then there's also the stress of like, it's good, but like not enough people want it, and am I gonna get all my tiers unlocked? So I think it does make more sense to just, here's what it is, buy it or don't buy it.
The negative voices, unfortunately, are always the loudest voices, because the people that like stuff just sit back at home and go, oh, I like that, and carry on with their life. But the people that don't like stuff are like, I don't like it, type. It's like they just can't contain themselves. So like, the negative voices are unfortunately always the loudest, but it doesn't mean it's the majority. It's just the loudest. So yeah, the campaign can sometimes get tied up and it just leaves a sour taste in the community. So you know me, I love this stuff. I'm trying to keep positive spirits high and enjoy what we do have. So I know next year I don't have to worry. I'm going to get a Dragon Man, and I'm going to get a few Sentinels. I won't say how many, like, but I'm getting a few. So yeah, good time. So bravo on that, Hasbro, as well.
Jordan, what do you got for an Attaboy?
I'd agree with that. I think the made-to-order thing is a super cool idea, and we've talked about that before, just how exciting it is to think about like the possibilities of doing more specialty stuff. It doesn't have to be a 3-foot figure every time, but it could be something that maybe you wouldn't normally do. So yeah, that's definitely something that is really cool to see this year. A lot of cool possibilities. One that I really like, I just loved my McFarlane Venom head that I got on my my Walmart Venom. And again, not something they had to do. I guess it just got me to go get another Venom, because I didn't need another Venom. But I love that head. I I just think that's such a cool look. That's kind of what I remember, you know, those older Venom comics. So I was really excited to finally get to see what I felt was the best representation of that look for Venom.
Yeah, I was trying to think of how I would work him on my list too, but I figured you'd have him somewhere. I was thinking even like best accessory. I couldn't remember if that head came as the like standard head or if it was the secondary head.
Yeah, I wasn't sure
so
if it would
like
count
that.
as an accessory or not. So I didn't want to get disqualified.
Sure. All right, my Attaboy is going to go Hasbro, making sure that I was right in some of my predictions, and that's going to be a cell shaded Daredevil. As soon as they started doing the campaign or the like VHS line, I was like, they got to do a cell shaded Daredevil because I had that like VHS from when I was a kid, and it's like just Daredevil's face on the cover of the VHS. So I think a lot of people want just their plain classic red Daredevil, which I think they are still going to do. You can't really get this one and take the cell shading off without losing the logo on there too. But I think this one's pretty good, and I'm shocked that it's gone up so high in the aftermarket.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy, yeah.
A lot of people I thought they were originally like, oh, I hate the cell shading, I don't want Hydro Man again, and now they've changed their minds. But again, I
told you, the loudest voices are always the negative ones. It doesn't mean it's actually the consensus of the community. So clearly, actions speak louder than words, and the aftermarket in the UK as well, by the way, that set is going for like over £100, which is crazy.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be a clear. I can't remember. I don't think I got this one on sale. I think it was when I was getting other things on sale, like the Detroit Steel was on sale. So I was like, oh, I'll just add this to the cart since I did want this Daredevil. And it's same Daredevil that came out in the 3-pack with Elektra and or Bullseye previously, and that was, I think, maybe your top figure of the year, Jordan, or
Which
one
one?
of the top figures.
The Elektra?
Daredevil
Yeah.
3-pack.
Oh, Daredevil, yeah. I really like that Daredevil.
So, same figure, just different paint on him, and I'm happy with it. Next up, we've got the Bare Bones Award. Figures that just came with a big figure.
You got it.
Figures that came with just a big vacant space with no accessories. Dan, who's winning your Bare Bones Award?
So you want me to show off a figure that just has a lot of vacant space and no accessories? Look no further, my friend, than the Destiny and Rogue 2-pack. Look at the void and the space. These two are very comfortable traveling in this box. They've got so much room to just lounge about. No accessories at all. One interchangeable set of hands for each of them. Destiny could have come with a diary, a crossbow, an interchangeable head. Rogue could have come with something else. Like, come on now. Like, this 2-pack was the same price, and I brought this 2-pack as an example. So these two were the same price. Look how much is packed into that box.
Crazy.
Interchangeable heads, effect pieces, a dog, like a technically a
freaking
is a
dog.
whole separate character. Do you know what I mean? Like a Dormammu head. Like, this is the same price as this, and look, nothing. Just a void of emptiness. Bare bones. So as much as I wanted Destiny in the collection, I'm happy to add her, but I was very frustrated that this is the format I had to endure to get her into the collection, because I definitely don't feel the value in this one. And yes, that's a Secret Wars Rogue, and you can sort of use them both, but that's not the point here. Bare bones. All right, bare bones. So yeah.
I think
there you go. That's my choice.
that is for sure the winner of the year in Bare Bones, because it's not only just a lot of vacant space, but for a 2-pack, and both characters come with nothing. Like, sometimes it's like, 2 characters and then one character gets a ton of accessories, the other one just gets a couple nothings. But this was just, they said 2 characters, both give them nothing. So yeah, that's the winner there. Jordan, you're up first on your Bare Bones.
Ooh, I feel like I'm going to steal maybe one that you had as a backup, Dakota. But I think I said this months ago, so I'm going to claim it. My other one was Road Destiny, but I'm going to have to throw Count Nefaria in there for sure. I think I remember when I first saw this one, I told Dakota this is a bare bones contender, as we were talking, with just his 2 little lonely hands sitting in the corner of the box. Just gave me a chuckle, which, yeah. I mean, I don't think as bad as the Road Destiny thing, but still pretty bare in that box.
Yeah, I think there's like a few characters that came out like that. I think an honorable mention for me would be the Helverine, because it's a Wolverine that doesn't come with much, but it's also Wolverine. But I think he should have just come with like some fire effects or something to kind of zhuzh up the Helverine. But I went with the Last Stand Spider-Man, because again, it's just a character that comes with an alternate set of hands. But I always get annoyed when they do that with the retro card waves, because at least when you do that with a Build-A-Figure wave, you're building a bigger, more substantial figure usually. But then with a retro card wave, it's just like, oh no, the pretty packaging is what makes it cost more. Like, you could have added a little something in there, because like they've done that with Spider-Man's with the several hands, alternate heads. You got Jack-O-Lantern, he comes with pumpkin bombs and a flying saucer, and so I don't know. I'm always a little more peeved when it's a retro card wave, because they're just saying it's a retro card wave, so you don't deserve the extra or the extra Build-A-Figure pieces and stuff. So
I agree. It's an awkward one, because I've tried to get to the bottom of this, like, because from my understanding, the logistics behind the scenes, we're never going to know the full story, but every wave has a budget. So like, depending on what characters have the most tooling or require the most deco, some characters have accessories that they sort of need to come with, otherwise what's the point of releasing them? Like, that's what the community want. Like Spider-Man with all his hands, they try and do that, for example. So I do think that unfortunately sometimes on those retro cards you get that lonely character who clearly was the budget saver in that wave, and that he doesn't really come with anything. I nearly picked something you spoke about earlier in this category for the Quicksilver, because he didn't come with the correct hands, because he only came with the wrong set of hands as an accessory. So there are plenty of unfortunate options in this category. But again, we're greedy collectors, so
right.
We want it all.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, we're only down to a few categories left here. We're gonna go to
two, right?
2 categories left.
Two left.
Second to last, we've got the cover of Action Figures I Don't Care About magazine. So this is one that, you know, it came out, maybe you don't care about the character at all. I think previously I had picked, is it Legion? Because I've just never liked that character for some reason. I haven't really read anything with him, but I'm just like, that just looks dumb to me. So it came out, I didn't care about it. What do you have on the cover of Action Figures You Don't Care About magazine, Dan?
I think there's only one winner this year.
Okay.
And Rich would go mad if I didn't say it.
Oh.
Red Widow.
Oh, yep. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, Red Widow. Yep. Like, as I said, I always try and find the positive. Again, I'm the type of half full. The glass concept, I try and see it half full. So I try and find something positive about everything to like. So like, again, okay, Red Widow, let me learn about her. It was even difficult to find and do research about that character. She was that obscure. Like, she doesn't really fit in anywhere. I know you can fit her in with your sort of Russian Avengers, etc. But even the character in the comics has not been identified. Like, she is still a nameless sort of identityless character. And it's like, and it's done nothing for me. And like, it's like, we could have got a White Widow, a Yelena Belova, do you know, like a new version of that or something. But instead they gave us Red Widow. It's like, I thought, usually sometimes Hasbro, again, they've got a licensor, and sometimes the licensee have to approve everything, or sometimes they push characters on Hasbro to say, look, we're doing something in the comics, here's this character. So I thought, well, maybe at some point we'll see a big deal, or maybe the identity of Red Widow will be revealed, but no, nothing. She's still obscure as she was when they released it. And it's like, so yeah, unfortunately, that character is just difficult to learn about and doesn't really do anything for me in the collection currently. But yeah, so Red Widow did nothing.
Maybe she's going to be in Thunderbolts, Dan. You never know.
Yeah,
maybe, and then she will be very
watch that
happy.
price just shoot.
Which might make sense.
This is why I buy most. This is why I make sure I buy. Like, I don't buy everything, contrary to belief, but I do try and pick up every unique character because I'm world building. So Red Widow, she's not a fronter, but she's in the collection somewhere. Like, I didn't even bother taking her out of the collection for this because everyone knows who I'm talking about, unfortunately. So yeah, I that's why I buy every character, because you never know. Because that definitely happens sometimes where people are like, oh, I don't care about this figure, and then something happens in pop culture or a movie or a show, and then suddenly it's desirable. Like, so yeah, she's in the back of the shelf, but right now, got no attachment.
Okay. Jordan, you said you had some like a hot button hot take on one
maybe.
of these. I don't know if
we'll see.
Is this the category or no?
This is mine. Yeah.
Okay,
You
because
want me to go?
it's also
Or are you
mine.
going? Oh, okay.
So I don't know if
Well,
I'm going to steal. If I'm going to
no,
steal it from you, I've got another
I don't
one.
think you will. I don't think you will. You go first.
Okay. The cover of action figures I don't care about magazine for me, and it's a lot of people's favorite of the year is Odin. I just I can't care about Odin. I don't know what it is, but it just it does nothing for me.
He doesn't do it for you.
Maybe if I ever get him in hand in a lot I pick up someday, maybe I'll realize the error of my ways. But it's one that they showed, and I was like, cool, I can save money because I just don't care. So, and I know a lot of people have said it's more expensive, but they're like, it's so worth the price. It's amazing. They love it.
It's one of those figures where it's an impressive piece of plastic when you get it in hand, for sure. Like, you getting it in hand, your mind will change. Maybe not like to the other end of the spectrum, but you will appreciate it more than you currently do once you see it in hand. I was similar. Like, the Asgard world isn't like my favorite corner of the Marvel universe, so I was the same. I was like, oh, okay, I knew Odin's nice, but not exactly my first choice for a deluxe. But getting it is very impressive. Lots of interchangeable parts and pieces as well. So for what it is, it's a solid figure. But again, it's all about that character attachment. Like, we all of us have our subconscious bias, don't we, depending on the character. And yeah, if you unfortunately don't care about a character, then you can't really get excited about the figure. But subjectively looking at it as a Marvel Legend, it is a solid figure.
Sure, yeah, and I'm glad that it's made it. If you want to fill out your Thor ranks, it's totally necessary to have him.
You gotta have him.
It just, as far as Thor characters go,
right.
I'd rather have my Loki. I'd rather have my Warriors 3. Give me a Sif. Give me some villains.
I was hoping
Odin on the shelf.
Yeah, you remember we talked about this a little bit, I think, Dan. I was hoping for like a Jack Kirby style, like green armor Odin with his like kind of trippy visual suit, which maybe we'll get sometime. But I love those those kind of bright colors on those characters. I think it's a lot of fun.
All right, Jordan, hit us with
your
your hot take.
So I'm going to say anything Deadpool and Wolverine I don't care about from the movie. Now, Dan, this is... Okay, so Dakota and I have a bit of a philosophical disagreement on this. I was not too impressed by the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. I know a lot of people loved it. A lot of people got a lot of joy from it, so I don't mean to take away from that, so I will not attempt to. It just, for me... I've been kind of like dropping a little bit on my MCU passion, which I've been there since the beginning. And Deadpool and Wolverine for me was kind of my like, okay, I think we're heading in the wrong direction here. So really no desire to have any of that merchandise. Even if I had it for free, I'd be like, eh. So yeah, that just didn't really do it for me. And that's a whole discussion, which I don't know if we want to open up, but that's where I stand.
Can I just say, I agree. I think Deadpool and Wolverine was overhyped.
Okay.
Like,
well, yeah.
I think the movie's fine, but it's not an MCU movie.
Yeah.
It's like a love letter to the Fox universe, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the film was definitely overhyped. Like, I come out of that cinema going, okay, yeah, it was good, but not as good as everyone's making it out or hyped it up to be. So, yeah, I sort of agree.
Okay. Yeah, well,
I'm all about it. I loved it.
I
was there for the hype train.
I don't know. I was hoping they'd maybe have to adapt or revise the Deadpool approach to humor a little bit differently. And I'm not above like crude, crass humor. I think that can work. I just don't think in the context of the MCU, I didn't really love that. I think you could still make Deadpool funny and meta, and I think that was a cool opportunity that they didn't quite take advantage of for me beyond like side gags or the nostalgia stuff. But
this is why we need to trust in the Russos, because I trust the Russos, and if they're going to somehow bring Deadpool into like Secret Wars or something like that, like, it's going to be interesting. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I trust the Russos and Kevin Feige, so we shall see.
That's true. We'll see. I'm still holding on to hope.
But if they make a Wesley Snipes Blade and a Gambit and I'm buying them. I'm a sucker for that stuff. So yeah, but I agree. The film was overhyped. I still liked it though, but it was overhyped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I am more excited for those future figures more so than I am actually. Like, I don't really need a Wolverine or a Deadpool, but if they did make a Gambit, I'd probably want that. Blade, probably, and then at that point, I might as well get Elektra too. So
Get
I'm
on.
old, by the way, so like Blade was such a big deal for me when I was younger. Like that first scene in the nightclub
Yeah.
where it starts raining blood down and the sprinkler. Like, if it weren't for the success of Blade, we would not be sat here talking about Marvel Legends because there'd be no MCU. The Legends line wouldn't be as successful as it is. Honestly, Blade is it's such a big. So just seeing Wesley Snipes again did bring me joy.
Yeah.
I've never seen the Blade movies, and that's
Ooh.
like it's partially
Do
a
yourself
choice.
a favor. Do yourself a favor.
It's just like as soon as I watch that though, what else? There's no more new things for me to watch. So
Just
it's
Oh,
kind
you
of
always
like
want
first.
stuff.
okay.
I always
just watch
remember
the
liking the
first.
second one better, Dan. Am I wild for thinking that? Do you think?
No. I was going to say if you watch the first, and if you like the first, then you can go ahead and watch the second, but you can skip the third entirely. Like,
Yeah, that one's rough.
yeah. So, but you will see Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool before Deadpool, not actually Deadpool in that movie, because that's basically Ryan Reynolds is playing a different character, but it's basically early Deadpool for him. He even says in the behind the scenes interviews, I'm inspired by the character Deadpool. In like it's crazy. It is crazy how it's all worked out to what it is now. But those Blade movies genuinely did start it all off. So Marvel would have been like literally were about to be bankrupt if it weren't for Blade. So yeah, crazy.
Yeah, that's very cool. Into our last category, fellas. This is the wild card category.
Wild
I
card.
figured that you wanted to fit into the list that you just couldn't find the right spot for. This is the category. Dan,
Okay.
who's your wild card?
Let's go with this guy. I moaned earlier that I don't like the concept, and I don't. I don't. But the figure, no one can dispute, isn't an epic piece. Now, he may be a little bit cross-eyed, but he's got an optician appointment soon, so maybe it gets sorted out. But ignoring that for the time being, I never got the Giant Man Toy Biz Builder figure. It was, again, the Toy Biz figures weren't easy to obtain in the UK. So yeah, you'd always have parts and pieces, but it was really hard to actually complete them. So it was always one that I wanted, but it was always one that was a pretty penny on the aftermarket. And this HasLab basically went up for the price that a decent original Toy Biz one was going for on eBay anyway, so it was like a no-brainer to go for this one, as it's bigger, aesthetically fits into a modern day Marvel Legends collection better. And mine came, and apart from the wonky eyes, which obviously Hasbro are hopefully making right, it's an epic figure. And if you're an Avengers fan, like, he is a founding member of the Avengers. Like, by issue 2, Giant Man's there. Like, Hank Pym is the Wasp in Hank Pym and the Wasp in the first issue of the Avengers, and by issue 2, he's already jumped up to being Giant Man. So he's a core founding member of the Avengers. I just feel like any Marvel fan should have him in their collection. He looks great, again, proportionately and scale wise. It just works. It's like a massive Marvel legend, like all the articulations there. I had no problems. I know some people had issues with the hands, but again, we're all adult collectors here. We're not idiots. Like, just warm them up, be careful, like, and you'll be okay. Do you know? So, yeah, I just wanted to find a way to put him on the list because, again, I may not be a fan of the HasLab concept and the campaigns, but this figure, I do think a lot of people that are just trying to stick it to Hasbro last year by not getting involved in this, I've definitely got FOMO this year when people started getting this in hand. So like, oh, actually, it's a great figure. And we're like, yeah, well, why didn't you fucking back it then? So, yeah, there you go. So yeah, Giant Man.
Good pick.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm up on this one. I'll say one of my runner-ups was Death's Head. I thought you were going to pick him earlier, but I'm going to go...
Okay, rapping, I like it.
Exactly. I'm going to go with a 2-pack, and that's the Arnim Zola and the Baron Daddy Zemo. I think that was another one that was another good bang for your buck. Lots of accessories in there. That's the look I want for Baron Zemo. It hadn't had that look since Toy Biz. The Walgreens one was okay, but even having that one, I was kind of like, this is it's Baron Zemo, but I want the hood head. Just looks a little bit more.
That's his son.
Yeah,
They're two different characters.
I don't need 2 Baron Zemos in my collection. I just need the hood head one.
You at
I might
least
have the
needed
other ones. I don't remember.
the scarred head too. I mean, that one's fun. He should have came with some
True.
adhesive X though. I think.
Literally, it's crazy, isn't it? It's just his mask is glued to his face.
I know.
That's what's happened. It's crazy.
I love that story as a kid, where it's like, yeah, he spilled his chemical and it sealed it. I always thought that was so funny.
That is funny. So I don't know. And that's another one that's like, it's in the past few weeks, months, it's been like half off on Amazon. So super cheap to get it. So, and even the Arnim Zola, I think I had the I never had the Build-A-Figure, so this is pretty similar to that one, but I had the 2-pack where he's kind of more the like gold and purplish.
Green.
Right.
I like this more orangey look for him. So for both of those, very worthy updates.
That was beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah. So I think that one.
I agree. I prefer the orange. I prefer the orange that came in the 2-pack you're referring to, by the way. So, yeah,
Right, because it's like that one looks better, I think, like color wise with your Hydra agents, but I'm like, it just doesn't look enough like Arnim Zola.
The
Like
orange
I
is
want,
more classic.
Lets him
Right.
stand
Orange
apart a
is
little
fine,
bit too,
fine.
you know.
Yeah.
right, yeah,
Doesn't wear the
So,
same thing as his lackeys.
right. Couldn't figure out where he fit in, but had to give them the wild card.
That was a good call. Yeah. Baron Zemo would have been a cool one. I will agree on Giant Man. Dan, I do have my Giant Man sitting over here, also waiting on my replacement eyeballs. And I think there is still a place for the Toy Biz Giant Man. I think is pretty sweet.
I agree.
Dakota has that one, and I think he is quite cool. I've got most of his parts, but I'm looking for a few random biceps, so I still would like to build him someday. But yeah, Giant Man, awesome. Like you said, definitely like a fully articulated legend at that scale is pretty impressive. So, yeah, I like him a lot. My wild card, though, truly, if I couldn't get Giant Man on there, I think I've got him up here too. It is not the anti-monitor.
I was gonna say
That I got.
wrong category.
The committee would not agree
That
with
I
that.
got
The
for-
committee have said that one is not allowed.
I only got him because he was $8 on Amazon on Black Friday, Dan, so I couldn't say no. This guy's got a special place in my heart. This is Vision. So the retro Vision was on my wedding cake, so I will never get rid of that figure, of course.
Oh wow.
But I do think he needed an update for sure, and I think this one did that really well. I love the colors. I like the hands that he can kind of do that, classic Vision pose where he's got his kind of mystical looking hands going out there. And I just really like this one overall. I mean, maybe one added cool thing would have been like a laser beam on his head, but I get it. That may be asking for a lot. So, but other than that, I mean, I really like the sculpt, the colors, and I thought this was a pretty solid Vision and a much needed Vision update. So I'm very happy to finally have this one.
That is the best current Marvel Legends Vision. There's a Diamond Select one that's out of proportion for Legends, but it does have that effect piece that you're referring to.
Yeah, I thought about that, and I'm glad. I would rather have the Legend and sacrifice the laser beam head. I do remember seeing that though, being like, oh, that'd be sweet if somehow Legends did something like that. But
Maybe you can find yourself an extra head, and then you can just Dremel in a little. Because like NECA has some pretty good like effect, like laser pieces that maybe you could use.
That's true. I
Kinda have
literally
that,
have. Yeah, that's true. That's a good.
Take a
point.
little
Put
bit
my
more customizing than.
Flash Gordon laser beam on his head or something.
Yep.
Paint it red.
That's exactly what I was thinking. There you have it, folks. That is our draft. Make sure you're liking, sharing, subscribing. Go check out Dan's videos if you have not already, especially the new Dark Avengers Warbird. And until next time, stay strong.